Here's a session for this week. We're working on attacking out of the back, trying to focus on the three central midfielders. If you guys play with three, just creating some movement. We're in the build-up phase. Specifically, it's off goal kicks. So here's a session. You might not be able to get through all of them, all of these phases here. So you may have to do break it into two, but at least it'll give you guys some ideas on your future sessions. So the first part is a warm-up. So it's a little technical warm-up, 2 versus 2, change of direction. We set it up with 4 goals. So break it up into 2 teams. You have the distance is 12 yards, so a pretty short field, and it's 20 yards wide. 2 goals on here, 2 goals here. So both yellows are going to dribble to the line and back. Blues are going to go to the line and back when the coach says go. They're going to dribble back, and you're going to work on a variety of turns because I felt like there's going to be kids are going to be able to need to use that technical piece in terms of changing direction, starting again. So use a variety of turns. Once all 4 players dribble back to that line, to the starting spot, the coach will end up playing a ball to whoever gets to the line first. So you could play it to the yellows, and it's 2 versus 2 to the opposite goals. Once the ball's out, next group is up. So just a simple exercise. Main thing was to incorporate, if 2 players are shutting one side down, then obviously we're going to look to change to the opposite side, because I think that's going to be important when we focus on driving and attacking out of the back and drawing numbers to one side and looking to switch play. So that's why I decided to do this technical warm-up, 2v2 with a little bit of change of direction turns, and then 4 goals to work on switching the play. I use some ideas outside the hook turns, step over turns, some U-turns. You guys can choose whatever you want. Okay, so the progression kit, you can add a hesitation, stop and go. So the players can dribble out, maybe a hesitation move, and then go again, and then work on a quick turn, and then the coach will play it out. So that could be an added progression to this warm-up. So maybe 10 minutes or so to get them touching the ball, making some decisions, and then we go into the next stage. This is a 3-zone breaking lines. So we can set up as shown, three zones here. It's 7 versus 3. Let me break this open here. So it's 3 zones, 10 to 12 yards here, 5 yards in here. Maybe it's not to scale. But just to give you an idea. And then it's 15 to 20 wide. I have a big goal here, counter goals on the backside. So Blues are on offense. So all the defenders start off. The coach plays it to one side. Typically, he'll start with the goalkeeper side because we're working on with them first. So the goalkeeper, we have goals. If you don't have a goal, use flags. So coach will play the ball in. You can allow 1 defender pressing in here. So it could represent their 9, and then 2 defenders sitting in this middle zone. Okay, so the objective is to advance the ball to the other side. As the coach plays it out, the defenders are set. So again, I put a line down the middle here just to give you guys an idea of just attracting, drawing the defenders to one side, and having the players recognize if there's good numbers here, then it might. You have to look at attacking the space to the right. So either using the 6 to bounce it out that way, or using the goalkeeper and switch and play. If it's on, they can dribble over the line, right? Or they can pass the ball over the line. And then Blues are free to go wherever they want. So if the ball gets played across, then you can allow 1 player to join in here and then 2 in here. So it's always 1. So it's representing the opponent. If they had a 9, so if they had a 9, they're going to try to keep the play to one side, okay, force and play to one side, and then these guys are looking to play out from this side, right? So they can look to play here, pass it across, and they would get a point. So every time they transfer the ball from one zone to the opposite zone, they get a point. Okay, so if they play it across, then they would have one player jump in here. This guy would not be the 9 anymore. It would be a different guy, different player. And then that's how it would look. Okay, so obviously the ball goes out of bounds. You rotate, the next 3 would jump in, and then the coach would play it into the goalkeeper, and then you start over again. Okay, so that's the idea. It's just a little possession exercise with some directions, but it will get the idea of players being able to attract, drawing players from one side. And the main thing is just looking, okay, if they don't have good numbers here, then yeah, let's look to attack this side, looking to break lines there, looking to split. But if they got good numbers and they're shifting, and then this side looks closed down. So that's the idea. So the quicker we move it, right? So we're looking to go this side. Here's the technical piece. If it's not on, here's the change of direction. Pull it, change, zip it across, and then space to drive into, space to play it forward. And that's what we're looking for. All right. And I kind of designated the numbers 4, 5, 6, 8. 6, 8, and 10 are like the 3 central players. So the Reds' objective, they steal the ball, they can go to any of these little goals. So hopefully if the pass is played in, these guys are counter-pressing, protecting the middle, closing it down, collapsing. And then once they win it, then off they go again. Then let's say the 2 Reds they steal the ball, they're attacking. Then if you guys the Blues steal the ball back, okay, then these guys need to go back into their little grids. Okay. I would go maybe 8 to 10 balls, and then you guys can rotate positions in terms of Reds are up and then Blues are defending. All right, so that's this exercise. And then the next one is a little bit more functional exercise in terms of the build-up. Let's see here. So this is attacking out of the back. Focus on the movement from the 6, 8, and 10 to free themselves to advance the ball. Okay. This one has zone 1, 2, and 3. So it's basically 3 versus 1, 2 versus 3 in the second zone, and 1 versus 0. Objective is to advance the ball to each zone into the little goals. Defenders steal and counter to big goals. Defenders in pink can only stay in their zone. Attackers in blue can overload zones by +1 by dribbling over or passing. Okay, so starts with the goal kick. Again, same idea. It's 3 versus 1 here. The 6, we can see that the starting position, they're a little bit lower and deeper, and we want to emphasize getting the 6 and the 8 and 10 to start higher, to just, because sometimes we feel like they're starting so low, they're bringing a lot of people into the space. You want to pull these other players away, so that way we can create space for the 6. Okay, so the 3 versus 1, the 6 can stay out, stay beyond the 9, and then the idea, this movement is a little counter movement, just to give you guys the 6 an idea. Sometimes we'll see as the ball goes out to this one side to the 5 here, the 6, the 9s, the defenders are shifting one way, and then the 6 is also going that way, and then they're like marking themselves. So maybe we can talk about these players going opposite. So if the ball transfers over here, the 6 is pulling away to the opposite side. Because right now they don't need any help because there's 3 versus 1, so they can stay out. And then so this movement I'm showing in red, if the 6 pulls out, the 10 could bounce a little higher. And then if this guy is looking to close down, okay, then the timing of the 8 can look to check down to help out. Okay, so but again, they got good numbers in this space. It's 3 versus 1. Okay, so they can look to rotate out the other way, then advance. So once they can go +1 into the zone. So right here you can see it's the 6, the 10 and 8 are going 3 against 2. The 9 has to stay in here. We have the number 6. I forgot to mention this to you guys earlier, but the 6 can only move along the line to screen passes. So really, in this first zone, you can see right here, it's 3 versus 1 against the 9, and then in here it's the 8 and 10 versus the 6, 8, and 10 in blue. So, but if the 4 ends up dribbling forward, then they're going to overload this. So you'll see that a lot. So as this player is just dribbling on, she's going to attract probably the 10, and then these guys are working opposite movement, creating angles, and so they can either set it or lay this ball off, and then they look to advance. So it should be fairly easy for these guys because they got an extra guy plus an extra player coming in here to make it 4 versus 2. So that's a good way to start it. And then their objective is to get the ball into these 2 goals, and then they can go +1 or +2 in here. So, but once they play it in, it should be they're looking to score. So we're primarily looking at what's the movement look like between the 6 and 8 and 10. So as the ball is going in one direction, sometimes we'll see that a lot of players are standing. They don't know when to show. The 6 and all these players are shifting the same way as the defenders are, and they're not freeing themselves. So a little counter movement to the opposite way. And then really when these guys are closing down, okay, is when, okay, this player is needing help and he's getting closed down. So then now it's these guys coming alive and showing at the right time and right pockets and right moment. So, so that is the primary idea of this exercise, is just kind of giving us an idea of numbers up in the build and then looking at the movements between the 6, 8, and 10. So obviously if they steal the ball, that everybody can join in. The pinks can join. If the defenders steal it, they can counter to the big goal, and they can go anywhere they want. But once they regain possession, same as the last one, they got to go back into their zones. All right. So as you guys progress, you can make it a little bit more difficult by going 3 for 3 in here. So these guys can match up, right? So it's 3 versus 3. And everybody's 1 for 1, and then but these guys are still +2, +3 in here, or +2. I'm sorry. So once the ball goes here, they should have enough players to go 3 versus 1 in this giant space. Okay, the 6 can jump down in here if they need help. So obviously, if there's trouble, they can look to bounce, switch out, go the other way. Okay, now, like I said, if you had more time. Okay, you can keep it to, you can look at them playing against a 2 front. How do you guys build out from a 2 front? And then you can go, let's see if I added another player in here. So same idea here. So it's 3 versus 2 in this build. Okay, and then it's 2 versus 3 in this zone with another player looking to screen the pass. So that's another way that you guys can look at maybe down the road from another session. But typically, most teams are only going to play with a 3 front, and the 9 is the lone player that is pressing the ball. Okay? All right. Let's look at my notes here in terms of the progression and the point systems. Progression 1, add another defender, like I said, in zone 1 to create 3 versus 2 right here. This would force the 3 mids to get free since pressure should be higher. Progression 2, add another defender in zone 2 to go 3v3. So that's going to be really difficult because everybody's 1 for 1 in there. Okay. Here are my notes here. Focus on starting position of the 3 mids. Start higher, the 8 and 10, to create space for the 6. And then 6 is working and maybe shift opposite and open passing lanes. Opposite movement and timing of when to show, open passing lanes to the next line, because we'll see a lot of it is like, so let's say the 4 is here or 5 is here, the 6 is the first line of support is this player, but really this player, she wants to get out, open passing lines up in here, and then this could be a look where we're looking, short option here, but really want to look at opening lines into the next line of players, So then once the ball gets played beyond them, then they're looking to play off her. Then if that's not on, then obviously if they don't like it, if they don't like this space on this left side, then the choice is to recycle and switch out, and then maybe she can advance. Okay, so a lot of coaching points will come out, I think, in that exercise. And then the final game is 77, and then I think we set it up very similar in terms of just, the first 12 minutes, the dead balls are going to start with the goalkeeper. So it's 77. It'll look same thing. So you got two teams, 2 goals, offside line. This player is, you got the 4 and 5, I have the 6, 8 here, and 10, and the 9. So you're setting them up in what they were training in prior throughout the session. Okay, so 12 minutes starting with the goalkeeper, then just after that they should end up playing without any, restart restrictions. So that's the session. I don't think, like I said, there's a lot in there. I don't know if you're going to be able to dig through it all through one session. So this, you might do this first phase and then this for day 1, and then day 2 you can do another. You can jump into this as you guys get closer to the weekend. Okay, I think a lot of tag games will be relevant to that, because working on, especially the midfielders, double movements to get free would be important to lose players. Okay, so all right. Hopefully, you guys, if you guys have any feedback for me, that'd be great. I've done this a few times with some of my teams, and it seems like it works out pretty well. So, love the feedback. Okay, good luck. Thank you. Bye.